Hello and welcome to Essex by the Sea. I'm Owen, exploring the Essex coast, finding out about the amazing and interesting stories it has to offer. For this episode, I'm at Shoebury East Beach, and the tide is quite a long way out, but once it's in, there's lots of activities you can do on the water. Simon Mudd joins me. He is from the Essex Stand-Up Paddleboarding School, but I know you've got lots of hats. Thanks very much for joining me.
Hi, nice to be here.
So, Simon, what do you do? What's all the kit that's around me?
Okay, well, we do 4 activities at the schools. So they're separated, but they've got Essex stand-up paddleboarding, so we do paddleboarding lessons and hires. So it's quite unique, and East Beach is a really good place to do it, and it's also good for families. Then we do kite surfing. We've done that for over 20 years now, teaching kite surfing. We do kite surfing foiling, which is on a foil board, so we do advanced riding onto that. We do wing foil and wing surfing, which is the new kid in town. So that's using a handheld wing on a hydrofoil board and getting you up to ride on that, and that's brand new. So anyone looks up essexwingsurf.co.uk, they get a look at and see what that is. It's probably easier to visualise it on a website than it is for me to tell you what it is. And we do the traditional windsurfing as well, beginner windsurfing. So we've got wind activities to do when there's no wind, and we've got a lot of activities to do when there is wind.
Let's start with the kite surfing then. What is kite surfing? Are you out in the water? Are you here on the grass? What is kite surfing?
Kite surfing is using a very large kite that's normally inflated, so that basically if it lands in the water it will float and you can relaunch it. So we have a big kite and you're attached to it via a harness. So you wear a seat harness or a waist harness, so it attaches to you, and then you put a board on your feet and then you propel yourself across the top of the water.
This is it's essentially like a surfboard on your feet, is it?
That's correct. Yeah, it's like a surfboard. We have there's different types of board now. So you've got a traditional type of surfboard. You've got a twin tip board, which is what most people use for normal riding, and then you've got foil boards now, which is what a lot of people are moving on to, because it's like a hydrofoil. So you actually come out of the water, and everyone loves the visual factory on that one. Is great. So basically, everyone's floating across the top of the water, and it looks impressive. And that's what's led on to the foils have come on incredibly over the last sort of 5 to 10 years, and that's what's made it with carbon fibre and stuff. Everyone's gone into a lot of people are going into the foils now.
These kites then, I mean, these aren't just your sort of, what I would say, sort of a kiddie sort of diamond-shaped kite then. These are big, almost like parachutes, I would imagine.
They are, and they've got an immense amount of power, and that's why you do need to have a lesson before you start messing around with one of these. They will take you up in the air. If you get it wrong, they will cause you problems. So we strongly advise anyone who's going to get into kite surfing and likes the look of it to take a lesson. And same with all sports really, because you can save yourself a lot of time and a lot of money actually, because we supply the equipment that's correct for you. Whereas if you go into a shop or you go onto eBay or something like that and just buy equipment, it might not be really what you're looking for. And a lot of people turn up down the beach, too many people actually, that have bought old, out-of-date equipment and they struggle with it, or it's just not fit for purpose anymore. Things have moved on. Kite surfing's evolved over the last 20 years. It's unrecognisable from when it started to now. So if someone buys a 12-year-old kite off of eBay, it's completely different. The safety systems aren't there anymore on the older kites that they are now. So I strongly advise anyone who's thinking about doing it to get a lesson, invest your money in getting some good tuition, and then after that you'll get advised on equipment, and that way you won't make too many mistakes.
When you're out on the water and you're kite surfing then, I mean, you said that it can be quite dangerous. I mean, can you pick up quite some speed? I mean, I've been on the coast around Shoeburyness, Southend, and seen sort of people whizzing along. What sort of speeds can you pick up then from just the wind?
Well, most of the people ride around about 25 to 30 knots across the top of the water, and then some people are going a lot faster than that. And some of the new foils with the race equipment, they are doing extremely fast, and that's the hydrofoil is the one that's going into the Olympics, so that'll be actually an Olympic sport now. Kite surf racing with the hydrofoil board. So yeah, you can go as fast as quite fast, and yeah, it can be a little bit dramatic if you come off.
With that sport going into the Olympics then, do you think that's going to increase the popularity of the sport? What do you think the impact will be?
All sports take a bit of go up and trends. This year we've seen a bit of a resurgence in kite surfing again, and I don't know why. Maybe it's just after COVID, people are just coming out and having a go at something completely different. Some sports are taking a bit of a dive. Paddleboarding's not been as big this year as it was over COVID, because everyone was locked at home and all the rest of it, and it was a cheapish sport to get into. But this year, kite surfing's done really well, and I think when the Olympics, it's seen in the Olympics, it will actually take off again. So we've had a couple of resurgences in 2005, 2007. It was really big. Then it sort of just plateaued off, and then this year we've seen it come back again.
It's not overly windy down here at East Beach at Shoeburyness today. There's a little gentle breeze. Would that be enough for perhaps a beginner to get an experience of kite surfing?
Anything just over 10 miles an hour is good for your day one, we call it, where you're just getting used to the kite and the equipment. But on your day two, where we're trying to get you up and riding, we need a little bit more of wind. So we're looking at 12 to 14 miles an hour minimum to get your average person up and have a chance at riding. But today we've got a light breeze, very light breeze. We could do some land stuff. We could probably get you on the water, and as long as the kite will relaunch, we could play on the first day. But like I say, if I was going to do a run a day two, we call it, or progression, I want a little bit more wind than this.
I mean, it's a lovely day to be on the Essex coast, and around me you've got what look like paddleboards today. Is that the plan for today, as it isn't overly windy?
Like I say, when we got wind, we normally cancel off. If it's really windy, we cancel off the paddleboarding lessons, and we just do the kite surfing and windsurfing lessons. So today we're concentrating, because there's no wind forecast, on the paddleboarding. Tomorrow's still a little bit of a mixed bag. I'm not sure what we're going to be doing. And then as we go on to next week, it's looking windy, so we'll probably be doing a lot of wind sports, kite surfing, winging, etc. So yeah, today's paddleboarding. It'll be just a nice gentle paddle around out there, nice and easy one for me, no stress. And then as we go on to kite surfing and winging, then obviously it's a little bit more dramatic and a bit more, and it's more of what I'm into, to be honest. So it's more fun for me to get out there and ride as well.
How did you get into it in the first place?
I've got a bit of a history on this thing. So I was initially got into windsurfing. I had a friend who built a Tremollet 21 powerboat, and he got me into water skiing, and then I got into windsurfing through him, and this is about 40 years ago. And then funny enough, I got into barefoot water skiing, did that for about 17 years, and then I was in a shop going to buy some windsurfing equipment, Wet and Dry Board Sports, a great shop and still around, and they had a video on the TV on the wall of kite surfing, and this is back 22 years ago, and I looked at it, and it sort of put everything that I'd been doing together, but I didn't have to rely on anyone, didn't have to rely on a boat. So I got into kite surfing right at the onslaught, and then it just took off. And then I started the school up in 2002, and we never looked back. We just did so well, and I was working for Ford's and running the school at the same time, and it's just been a crazy sort of 20 odd years, of running the school, working for the company. Then I retired from Ford's and just run this full time now, and now we're just about to start a school up in Brazil. So it's just weird how things have sort of evolved, and now we're sort of moving out to South America, and away we go.
An Essex company going international. But one thing you mentioned there, just in passing, barefoot water skiing. Is that literally what I'm thinking?
Yeah, it is. You're riding along forwards at around 36 miles an hour with no skis. You're just standing up on your feet, which we was all into, but it does take a big impact on your body. So there's a time to retire from that. And after about 17 years, so I was early 30s, I think in mid 30s, I decided that was the end of that. And then I went into more gentle sports, and so I've stuck with kite surfing and other things like that. So the barefoot water skiing, brilliant when it's day, and I really enjoyed it. And the guys I was. But the other thing is, it was so expensive because we were running power boats. This is a lot better because once you bought your equipment with kite surfing, it's a free ride. You haven't got to put petrol in it every day.
That's true. Yeah, the wind is still free at the moment. If someone's looking perhaps to start kite surfing for the first time then, what would you be teaching a novice who would come along, perhaps book a session with you? Where would you start?
On the introductory day one, you'd come to us, we'd get you signed in, and then we'd start on a land-based kite trainer. So you stand there just to get the hang of flying a kite. and it's a 2 metre kite. It's very easy. You can crash it into the floor as many times as you like, and there's no drama. You don't get pulled all over the place. It's completely safe. Then we teach you how to set up the larger LEI equipment, the leading edge inflatable kites that you're going to be using on the water. And then we go through a little bit of a theory lesson and safety. And then after that, we take you out on the water, get you all dressed up, helmets, life jackets, buoyancy aids, wetsuits. Everything you need is included. We take you out in the water and we harness you in to the kite and with an instructor, and we teach you how to fly the kite properly, how to utilise the power of the kite. That's your day one. How to relaunch the kite, how to self-rescue, how to get yourself out of trouble. And there's a full theory lesson on tides, wind effects. So the first day is around about 6 hours, about 2.5 hours on the water, and it covers pretty much everything, all the basics. Then you go on to day two. Your day two is a little bit of a shorter day. You come back to us, we set up equipment with you, and then we take you out fairly much straight away, and we take a board out with us, and hopefully you're at a stage where you can safely put a board on your feet and try and get up and ride. Most people have a limited success, so basically you probably ride about 5 to 10 feet. Some people have been absolutely phenomenal and they've just got up on road. Other people struggle, but you will get it, and everyone's different. So it's the same with paddleboarding. Some people jump straight on the board and paddle off, and other people take 10-15 minutes just to get their balance. And it's similar with kite surfing. Everyone progresses at a different rate, so we give you as much time as we can out of the water till you get tired. And if you don't succeed over those 2 days, obviously you can just come back and we have additional lessons on top of it. So it works. Most people are doing really well now. We used to have back in the day when we first started, the success rate wasn't as great as it is now, mainly because the equipment was so hard to use and it was all in its development stages. But now the equipment is so user friendly that it makes life a lot easier for us to teach you, and also for you trying to learn the sport.
Today there's a gentle breeze that's coming from the sea onto land. How do you get out there in the first place? Because the wind's going to push you back inland. You
can actually ride about 15 degrees upwind. With the foil you can ride even more. So the good thing about East Beach is we teach on an incoming tide. So basically we walk out about a mile, and then as the water comes in, shallow, so we teach in shallow water, so we can walk back out, and then the wind will actually just blow us back in, and it will all be about knee deep water. Or we teach on the outgoing tide, so as the water drops down it's about knee deep, then we put the students on the water, so again they're in knee deep water, and we just chase the tide out. So we end up about a mile offshore, and everybody moans about the walk, but it's a safe, nice, easy place to learn. Whereas if you go some places, for argument's sake, Canberra Sands, they do have some good days down there, but a lot of the time they have a big shore dump, so there's waves coming in on the shore. So if you do drop your kite, one, you're getting buffered around by the waves, but if you do drop your kite in the water, the kite gets wrapped up in the shore dump, and then you have to go back and set it back up. Here we haven't got any of that to worry about. So when you're on the water, you get 100% of your time is efficient. You get out there, you're concentrating on trying to learn, and you haven't got to worry about being out of your depth or anything like that. So we can teach a lot easier. It's such an easy place to teach here.
Well, while we've been here, people have already come up asking about hiring the equipment and also for lessons as well. Where can people find out more if they're interested in the sport?
Okay, well, with the kite surfing, it's fairly straightforward. We're at essexkitesurf.co.uk. That will give you some information, and my phone number's on there. You're always welcome to call me. And then if you want to do the wing surf, it's Essex Wing Surf, wingsurf.co.uk, and that will get you through to the wing surfing website. And if you're into stand-up paddleboarding, it's essexsup.co.uk. So it's Essex Kite Surf, Essex Wing Surf, or Essex Stand-up Paddleboarding, Essex SUP. And any of those will get you to us. And obviously there's a contact number, which is mine, or you can email us and we'll try and get back to you as soon as we can and give you as much information as possible. But it's they're all good sports. They're all like local. If you live in local, kite surfing at East Beach and Southend is one of the top places, and we've all travelled all around the world. And when you come home, it's quite phenomenal that you're looking at a spot. Your local spot is one of the best. It's an incredible place to kite surf. So if anyone's seen it and wants to get into it, then please do have a go. You know, you'll be surprised. Don't leave it, is what I'd say. Try it, because you might be, kicking yourself in a few years' time that you didn't try it earlier.
Well, Simon, thank you ever so much for joining me. Wish you all the best with setting the business up overseas as well. I know that's a new venture for you. Thanks very much for joining me here on Essex by the Sea.
It's been my pleasure. Great to talk to you. Thank you.
Don't forget to subscribe to the podcast. Episodes drop twice a month, on the 1st and the 15th of each month. And follow us on social media as well. We're on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook and TikTok as well. Until the next episode, thanks very much for listening.